G'day scrappers. Here we are at the scrapyard. Start off this video by just clearing off a bit of scrap metal first, and then we'll get back and start our scrap marathon.
Microwave truck.
Hey?
Microwave truck.
Yeah, microwaves. I fill them up with scrap.
You strip them?
Yeah, usually, yeah. It's mostly computers I strip out and sell the boards.
I used to do it. I don't get this. Very rarely get the hard drive.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a bit today. Just need to make room before I start scrapping more stuff, because just got nowhere to put it when I'm done with it. So just another day in the life of eWaste Ben, I suppose. Alright. Just take my time and go slow. Good old lawnmower. Dishwasher. Okay. A lot of microwaves today. They're all full of scrap. Slow process. They're all pretty heavy because the fact that they're loaded with small scrap, so get pretty good weight overall. You been busy?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, eh? All right, full big bin. It's this guy. Push bikes and all kinds of stuff. Street scrapping, no doubt. Okay, just go and get the cash or the invoice and we get out of here. All right guys, well I'm back from that scrap run and that's a good way to start the week off, just getting rid of the scrap and making a whole heap of room here to load in more scrap and get rid of that by the end of the week, hopefully. But so pressing steel, I ended up having 755 kilos, so that's a good wad, 3/4 of a ton. And so the rate here that I'm getting is 380 or 38.5 cents a kilo, less the levy, which is a tax, rubbish tax. This new government laws now, rubbish tax, it's just tax, just another way to squeeze scrappers. Yeah, so I ended up $256. That's not bad for my rubbish, you know, and yeah, glad to see the end of the microwaves, or most of them. I don't think I've got any left. There might be one tucked away somewhere, but yeah, so they're all full of they were full of plugs and rubbish and, you know, all that sort of nuts and bolts and screws. So okay, so for this week I've got no calls booked. I've got a couple of jobs. Actually, I got one job booked. Empty a couple of bins, swap over a couple of bins of cable. But getting rid of the irony alley is one of my jobs, and maybe even take the irony alley in with a smaller load of scrap steel and get rid of as many PCs as I can, but the ones without lids straight out as scrap once I take out all the good stuff. But I've got a lot of cable that I need to process, and I need empty bins, so that's going to be a mix. Processing PCs, filling them up with cable, so cutting cords, and then going on to the next PC, just doing it one at a time like that. A lot of little UPSs and some big UPSs, so I've got to get onto that too, and get the batteries out. Yeah, there's not much value in these little UPSs, but you know, obviously there's a large transformer and sometimes a couple of batteries. This one, it's had the batteries taken out already, so just getting out the transformer, just end up with scrap steel. So yeah, it's going to be a busy week. These PCs they're not sold, but I've got a guy that wants to you know, spruce them up and sell them, and you know, and he'll give me a cut out of that. Better than scrap value anyway, much better, so do it that way. But the garage is pretty good. I've loaded up the other van with all the PCs and laptops that I've got to take to my buyer, so that got rid of a lot, including the Apple all-in-ones. So it's given me a foot into the door here. I really want to get rid of this, but I've got to process quite a lot of these PCs and make space, and just because they're not undercover, got to get rid of this stuff as quick as possible, and like I said, take another load of scrap metal in probably at the end of this video. So yep, let's get into it. Okay, let's get into scrapping, shall we? So I've got this big old server. It's pretty much just a glorified big box. Took off this cover. There's no hard drives in there. They've obviously taken all them out. So I'd imagine all that's going to be in here is a power supply and motherboard, and looks like a few cards. And we'll just check out what the CPU is all about, and it'll just be a good first one to get rid of because it's so big, and then we can go on with processing everything else that needs to be done. Okay, yeah, pretty much just a it's got a couple of CPUs, so we'll check them out. A bit of an older school server, certainly not vintage. They still left one hard drive in there, so probably weren't really worried about it. Okay. So it's I don't know how I'm going to get this hard drive out. It's a bit of a different feeling now that I've gotten most things done as far as sending off boards, and they're done, and the scrapyard run just to give me a bit of room so I can start filling up more scrap. But that's a pretty full-on card, this one. Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty decent card. 3 gold bands. These are really good. These CPU type things, BGAs for gold recovery, they're really, really good. And yeah, decent card. Might have to look that one up. Oh, one more. Another one just as high value with it's even bigger. So that's a nice one too. But yeah, just not so much checking out what's in there. It's just it's a lot of this bit of a marathon is all about just processing as much as I can, as quick as I can, because as you've seen recently, a serious load of scrap has come in, so we've just got to get as much volume done and make room for the next pickups, because well, as well as scrapping stuff out, I've got a lot of cable, way too much cable, and I've got quite a lot of bins of cable lined up coming in. I've even got to drop off a couple of more bins to one of my big clients. They've got they're going to have 5 bins on top of me taking away 2 bins. So they've got a lot of cable. They reckon 20 years worth. So that's going to be interesting. Got a power supply under here. Just got to work out how to get to it all. But yeah, just mainly interested in the CPUs in this one. Wow. That's a long ribbon cable. Bit of a funny old setup, this one. All right. So let's get this motherboard out, and then we'll just... Don't know if I'm going to be able to get this hard drive out. I'll check it out from the other side. Fan systems. All right. So yeah, it's just been a lot busier than I thought I was going to be, simply because I was trying to process boards, get them ready for my seller or buyer, and yeah, so I was just trying to do so many things at once, and just had more pickups than I anticipated. So it's finally settled down a little bit this week, and I even had to I had extra advertising going on Google, but I even had to just cancel the extra advertising because I was just getting a lot of little calls anyway. There's a copper LE radiator and just a regular type of CPU with the pins. Yeah, I was just getting, people calling me from all over the state. I've got one printer and 2 monitors I need picked up, and so I was spending a lot of time answering phone calls. And if I was on the road, stop the car or the van and on the side of the road and answer the phone calls, and yeah, just 9 out of 10 phone calls were just a waste of time, even answering. So I figured, well, I'm getting, because I was getting so many residential calls, I thought, what's the point of paying, probably extra $250 a month to advertise when I'm just getting the rubbish calls. So I'll wait until probably in December, and I might, or November, I might advertise again for another couple of months and see how we go then. But yeah, alrighty. So there's no RAM in this one, unfortunately, but I've got a decent size server motherboard, so pretty happy with that. Okay. A little brass risers. I'll just get the ones that are loose. Can't spend too much time on knick-knack little tidbits. All right. I think we just got to get the power supply out. From somewhere. I think we'll get it from this side. All right. Quite a lot of cable on that one. Can always take a couple before I throw the rest into Iron Alley. All right, well, I've got this big box out the way. Not a great deal to it, but see if I can get this hard drive. There we go. Old school IBM hard drive. We're done. Leave everything else in it. I'm happy with that. All right. Well, that's one thing gone. Now we can focus on some better stuff, I think. So stacks of these little UPSs. Got big ones too, but so many of these smaller ones, they've just got to go right now. So in these, they're not huge value, but you know, usually get a transformer and a couple of batteries. So they're more just got to get processed and a little bit of scrap metal at the end. That's about it. So, but you know, when I'm doing jobs, you know, you got to take it away, and so you know, most places usually just give me one or two, but you know, recently, you know, I had one place that gave me like 7 or 8 in one go, and but, oh well, you know, we get a bit of value from everything. So we should have the batteries here. There we go. 2 batteries. Take the nice thick wire, good heavy weight. There we go. Couple of batteries to add to the newly formed stack of batteries that I'm building up. Okay. Just going through the motions, all this. It's just going to be one after the other. There we go. So we got our power board and a very large transformer. There we have it. Just take off all the good wire. I take the little IC chips and obviously the heat sinks here. I'll take them, and then the rest just goes into scrap steel. Same as that. All right. Wow. Amazingly big transformers for, you know, quite a little UPS. Even the giant UPSs don't have any bigger than that. That's quite cool. There we go. One big, heavy, nice little transformer. Oh. And just some wire to clean up. Yeah, so this is basically me for the whole week, hopefully. I've just got it. Yeah, I've just got to go and drop off and empty a few bins at a client, and That's the only job I'm doing this week, and yeah, and then so I'm just scrapping. It's a bit wet today, so I prefer, not to scrap wet e-waste. It's, just makes it a bit more awkward. So there we have it. The first UPS done, one of many. Just these things around the ferrite coil. Just unwind it, slide out that little, this one's pretty tight. Yeah, so yeah, as you saw, the price of scrap steel is pretty good, and all scrap metal has pretty much risen in price, just about all. But especially copper-based stuff. So it's really good. The more the better. Hey, all right. Well, so I've got this LAN. I think just some kind of access point. So I just the average little card in there. So we get rid of it. Just trying to, I could do just UPSs all in a row, but just try to break it up. That's what I try and do as I'm scrapping, just making it a little bit more interesting than just doing the same thing over and over. Gets a bit monotonous. Okay, so we just got a mid-grade board, and it's probably going to be a mid-grade board again. So even though it's sort of like network, doesn't mean it's telecom grade. So just check the risers. Yep, brass. There you go, that was quick, easy, nice. I got a couple of gold band crystals here, and yeah, it's just a mid-grade board then. All right, well, that was how I'd love all scrap to be. And quite a lot of these D-Link switches, yeah, like stacks and stacks of them. Well, not stacks and stacks, but probably 10 of just one oddball switch is quite unusual. All the same ones, but I do actually have a lot of switches. So this board here, sometimes they can be telecom grade or server grade, but this one's not. It's just not enough good stuff on it for me to call it server grade. But that's okay. Still, they're quite heavy boards, so even in mid-grade, they still, you get good value out of them. One more. Yeah, because this is all rubbish and these are just copper, and I'll leave the heat sinks on, so it's just not enough for a server grade board. But still, like I said, all this weight here is still good, even just as a mid-grade board. So I've got my old scrapper trackies on and my scrapper hoodie. It's all torn up, but it's good enough for scrapping. So I don't bother with these powders. So they're low grade, no grade. No value there. Just leave them as scrap metal. And we've got another little board. These LED lights and that, but it does have IC chips, so we'll just get away with this being a mid-grade board as well. Okay, so I've got a PC open up so I can fill it up with just plugs. I've got so much cable to process, it's just not funny. And so that's all I'm doing for now. Just each PC that I have open and ready to go, I've got to come back to these plugs and get them done. I've got a lot of plugs, or a lot of cable coming through in the next couple of weeks. I know that just because I've got 5 bins at a larger client. So, and I've got probably 6 bins full of cable here, and a lot of it is also in packaging still, so it just takes even longer. But I don't mind doing this for a while. It just, breaks things up. Obviously there's no heavy lifting here, so just gives me a break from everything else. And yeah, so this is me for a little while. Yeah, all kinds of stuff here. A lot of this is quite vintage from a PC store that I picked up from. So, this stuff is still here. But because it goes in bins, and then the bin can get pushed to the back, and, sometimes I'll process cable from a bin that's been there for a year. Because when you got so much, it doesn't matter where you start or where you end. It all needs to get done. So I don't worry about doing things in order anyway. And I don't bother taking out the transformers because, just no time for that, really. We get really good prices at the moment for insulated wire. And so I'm happy with that. I've just got a little tub to throw into. Just about filled up my wheelie bin full of cable, so I'm going to have to take it to the scrapyard and cash that in, and yeah. But I have to go and drop off a couple of extra bins to this client I'm talking about, and so I had to actually tip out the cable out of one of the wheelie bins so I could have a wheelie bin to another spare one to take there. So I've just used one of my tubs now that I've emptied out the tubs of all the circuit boards. Gives me a chance to just use those big orange tubs to stuff in other stuff while temporarily. Yeah, but I've got so many of plugs to take the pins out for gold recovery. Unless they're really super good, I don't bother anymore, because I've just got too much, and I don't think I'm ever going to actually really get a chance to process it. As far as gold recovery, I might end up offloading it to someone else locally that does gold recovery. That might have to be the way. But, yeah, it's just, it's a bit of a boring job, but oh well, it certainly adds value to my scrap paydays. It's just going through the motions. I think tomorrow it's going to be quite a nice day, and I've just got to go and drop off bins, but apart from that, it'll give me a chance to scrap out a bunch of PCs and continue with those the point of sales as well, but the UPSs that I've got. I might even take batteries in, even though I don't have a lot. It's actually better when I've only just got small amount of batteries, just enough for like half a pallet, because it is quite a bit of work packing all the batteries into the van and then stacking them onto a pallet at the scrapyard. There's so many of these the computer store kept, so it's mostly scrap metal. Right. Well, as you can see, it doesn't take too long to get through it. The things we've got to do, the biggest incentive is just to empty the bins and have a nice stack of empty bins just sitting there. When I do pickups and I'm emptying the van, especially with a lot of loose cable, it's just really handy to have empty bins where I can just throw everything in from the van and wheel it in, and then it's kind of technically undercover, so don't have to worry about it being in the rain if I want to play around with it. Yeah, I dare say that I've got a feeling that copper is going to continue to rise from this point on. Don't know, I just got a feeling it's going to keep doing well. So get out there and get some yourself if you can. It's just that where my board buyer, they process you know, a hell of a lot of e-waste, and but because they turn over so much, their scrapyard that picks up their cable, they don't have to cut cords or plugs off, so and they probably still get better than you know, you do at a good scrapyard, because because they send tons of it, and they're certainly not going to pay someone wages to sit there and do this, cut plugs off. No way, it just wouldn't pay. It would be a full-time, a full-time job for probably 2 people, considering how much they get. It's just you're paying 2 people full-time wages just to cut plugs. So they're lucky they got a good deal. They can just throw it all into a bin, and a big bin, and turn it over. Don't have to worry about it. So I think we're just about done here. All right. Okay. Well, that's one little handful done. But I've almost filled up the that's the PC. So it's just about full of plugs and stuff, and heaps of cable to go. So I've filled up that PC with plugs and stuff. So next, this one kind of looks a bit like a gaming PC, really. It's just from a client. Gigabyte graphics card. Oh yeah, these PCs, this setup is a little bit awkward because they kind of wrap the cable underneath, not underneath the motherboard, but there's another plate, so you've got to kind of undo the other side. I'm assuming, yeah. So I'm just going to cut some of this out to make it less awkward. Okay. Because it's all twisted and wrapped within around everywhere, so yeah, it's the only way to kind of do it. Yeah. So what I might do is just put the other side, deal with all that. And all this cable will just, it's all right through it. So it certainly was designed kind of to not be scrapped. It's okay. Still a lot of cable, which is always good. Okay, just get all this out. All right. So this is the place that take out all the hard drives and RAM and destroy them, and I get the little bits and pieces. But this would have been quite a nice PC in its time. Nice tower. Yeah, I know where this one. This was part of those boxy PCs that I got, but this one. So I might keep this this graphics card because I've given all those PCs. This is from actually a different place, and I've given all those PCs to a friend who that wants to try and sell them. So he might actually want that graphics card, and I might actually take a few of them, because I noticed on at least one PC there was a couple missing. I'll take all them and the screws, because they're here, just these covers, because they're nice and white to match what I've given him. All right, and the motherboard, I'll just check out what the CPU is. They're a bit old. Okay, Gigabyte motherboard, a GA Z68X. But if the CPU is really good, then I can reserve the motherboard. Copper stacker. What do we got? It's an i7. Yeah, it's an i7, but I think it's only 2nd gen, so I don't think my buyer even, wants 2nd gen. So, yeah, they are getting a bit on. All right. Well, I've got my empty cavity at least. I might keep a couple of these hard drive caddies as well. A nice tower, that's for sure. All right. Okay, well, I've got another empty PC to fill up with plugs and junk. All right, so I thought I'd just finish up with another UPS. These are the medium size UPSs, and at this size, this is about the manageable weight to carry. Any heavier than this, any bigger, yeah, they can really have some serious weight. Just a little card. Just a matter of getting all the wire out. Yeah, so I thought I'd finish up on this UPS and go on to the next video. I've done quite a bit today. It's a new day. And actually I managed to load up the van with my cable and irony alley. So I just had quite a few big chunks of irony alley that I wanted to get rid of, so it'll give me an incentive to scrap out many more PCs so I get the power supplies out and get rid of them too. Alright, just got to clean the wire off that bit. Some nice chunky, but I think it's tin plated copper as well. So, but it's reasonably thick, so I might keep it to strip. Alright, just hack my way through. We should really remove the battery pack. That was a bit weird, bit rough, but I got there. Yeah, so I'm pretty tired today. I've been doing quite a lot, and mostly off camera, and there we go. We've got some pretty decent wire. When they're really long packs, like packs of 8, usually I'll leave the plastic covers on. But this is pretty easy plastic to get recycled, so there is quite a bit of wire in amongst these 4. So, yeah, it's pretty good wire, but it's got very thick insulation as well, so I'm happy just to get regular. It's a little bit too thin to strip, and I mean strippable, but for the thickness of the wire in there, and because they're only small pieces anyway, easier just to sell it as mid-grade insulated wire, because we get pretty good money for it anyway. Alright, well, that's 4 batteries, and I'll just get rid of these. Now, this will definitely be the last thing I scrap today. It's getting late. I didn't realise how quick time went. I mean, it always does, so I shouldn't be surprised, but yeah. Oh, still got a bit of power there. On probably on the capacitor. Oh, yeah, the circuit board's still quite live. I reckon if I get rid of this nasty capacitor, I reckon that was one of the main culprits. All right, so I can get this real thick wire. It's quite good. It is tinned copper, but it's not. I mean, it's obviously less than Millbury, but not a great deal less. So, all right. So this got a lot of extruded aluminium heat sinks on it. Because it's got so many, I might be able to just get away with it being irony alley. You know, it's got transformers they can get copper out of as well, but extruded aluminium is worth more than regular aluminium, as you know. But even as irony, if it's just irony extruded, it's worth more than irony regular irony alley. So the fact that I'm just putting it into irony alley mixed, it balances out by having the circuit board there. This other power board, it's just got a side project of getting the copper out. Yeah, it's all these relays, all got nice copper coils. There's 6 of them. That in itself's worth going for it. And it's just a transformer. If you're doing UPSs, you've got to have, you know, your sockets, however you have them, different variations. If you put it on a drill with an extension, you can do that. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes if you're just, you know, handling power tools most of the time, obviously the side cutters are probably the #1 tool that you use, and then comes the screwdriver drill bit. So sometimes it's nice just to do things by hand. It's just different hand motions. There's a nice big transformer, and that's that. Well, all right. Well, that's another item done, and yeah, from see what comes up through the week. Got another scrap metal run as usual, and just going to be plodding along and doing more UPSs and PCs. Mostly as many PCs as I can, just so I can get the power supplies out for Irony Alley. But well, we've got a transformer, nice chunk of Irony Alley, a lot of copper that we can pick off here, some pretty decent wire, even strippable wire. Beautiful. So I'll just continue on here and scrap all this stuff out. I have been making inroads, so it's really good. This will, yeah, still probably take me till the end of the week because I get distracted with other things. Just got very little here, which is awesome. Couple of empty spots for wheelie bins, so all these little things matter to me. And the garage isn't looking too bad. I am making inroads into it, and yeah, I've just come across a stumbling block of a whole lot of telephones. Just need to be bothered getting them processed and done. But yeah, no, we're looking good, and the other side is pretty good. Got very little boards over the other side. Yep, just processing a lot of telephones here, and quite a lot of POS machines, and yeah, and then finally get into the garage and organise a few things I've got in there that I want to get rid of. So yeah, but anyway guys, hope that was a bit of fun for you. I'm buggered, it's the end of the day, I'm just tired, I've almost just ran out of energy, so I've got to end it there. Keep scrapping, have fun, and I'll catch you real soon.